How long have you been following DSA?
Since last year, August.
Since last year, August. Wow. And can you even remember how you got in touch?
I sure do.
Okay.
Sure do.
Okay.
There's an apostle from Nigeria who was here.
Ooh, okay.
And I worked with him for a year and a half. And I saw a post. It was either a post or something he had shared on Facebook.
Right.
And I started listening from then on, and I never stopped.
So it was my post?
Yes.
Yes. It was about me, or it was my post?
It was your post.
Wow, okay. Hey, you know what? Most of these apostles, they get angry because of the topics I'm dealing with right now. I'm not sure he's still following me.
I know, because after a while, I started asking him about it, and as I shared your post, he said, Dr. Sunday, he said, he's gone too far.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I mean. You got it. You got it right there. I suspect as much, because all these apostles and pastors and bishops that used to be very proud to know Dr. Sunday, and who used to be proud to call me their friends, now they think I've gone too far, because when you touch the money, money,
they scattered.
When you touch
but it was too late.
When you touch that,
late. I already heard you.
You already heard you. It was too late. When you touch that money, well, that's where all the friendships stop. Okay, let me see if we have anybody greeting us here. Yep, we got Adelaja here from London. Then we have Oluyomi Jegede here, I think from England as well. Then let me go to YouTube. Facebook. I think we have Facebook ready already. Let me see. Let me greet the people on the Facebook as well. Okay, we have Abubakar Sulaiman. Hello, Abubakar. The good thing about our platform is that it unites everybody. We have the Muslims, we have the atheists, we have the Catholics, we have all kind of everybody.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, we have Idara here. We have Oluyobi, he's from London, England. Good. Okay. Okay, here we go to Facebook. Okay, on Facebook we have Enoma, Juliet, Mabo, Igwe, Ayo, Pat, Tim, Francisca, Jojo, Orenuga. Yep, welcome everybody. Please go share this message with your friends. Go look for your friends. Go look for who to tag. Tag your friends, call your friends, and you don't want to miss this conversation. We have Samuel here. We have Mbabe, Adejumo, Adeola is here. Okay, please go call as many people as you would like to join us and participate in this discussion. We have Benjamin, we have Cynthia. Yep, welcome everyone. We have Kathy. Okay, welcome everyone. We have Oluwatoyi Bidemi is here. Yep, welcome. All right, go call your friends, go tag as many people as you would like to invite to join us. We have Lawrence, we have Bingpe, we have De Young. Right, we have Ufuoma, yeah. Welcome, Malike, Raija, beautiful, Shinyere. Okay, Agatha, Steve. Welcome, everyone. Please go call your friends. And before I set loose my guest here today. Okay. Now, Rebecca, how are you today?
Yes, I'm fine, dear. Thank you very much. How are you?
Well, doing my best to set the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ free from the God of men.
Yes, amen.
Yep. Now, what comes to mind as somebody watching you from outside the United States of America, the first thing that will come to mind is, hey, okay, DSA, who do you have as a guest today? Is she a white lady? Is she a white lady, or she's Mexican, or she's a black lady? So I think I'm going to leave you, Rebecca, with the right to explain yourself to the audience. Who am I having to deal with today? Am I dealing with a white lady or with a Mexican, or I'm dealing with an African American? Who are you, Rebecca?
I consider myself an African American. At least I've grown up that way all my life. Here, born in Louisiana in the South, you know, a lot of us are this shade, this color. But I do actually get confused a lot for other races. As I was saying earlier, in Houston, when I would go visit, a lot of the Mexican people would just speak to me in Spanish. And I would have to answer them, no hablo español. And they would confuse them. They were like, ¿qué? And also, I look like their relatives. And recently, someone from Puerto Rico started speaking to me in Spanish, and his friend just started laughing. He says, man, she's not Spanish. She's not Latino. But I have to tell you, DSA, even some white people don't know.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Because if you go to Africa, a lot of people will think that you are a white lady.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of, because Africans are used to the darker shade. What happened? Something went wrong with my connection. Okay. Hello, guys. Something went wrong with my connection. I don't know what happened here. So I'm sorry, guys. We are going to get Rebecca back as fast as we can. I don't know what went wrong there, but we're going to fix it right now. Hello, Rebecca. Are you there?
Hello. I'm so sorry.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I lost I can't hear you anymore. You've got to get that voice back. Whatever happened.
Okay. Hello?
Now it's good. Now it's good.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. I'm so sorry
Can you make your head come a little bit higher? You were okay before. No, I'm talking of your telephone.
Right.
Good, that way. Excellent.
Better?
Excellent,
okay.
Excellent. Now, what was the last thing? What was the last thing? Okay, I was trying to tell you that if you go to Africa, that because in Africa we are so much used to the darker shade, and they don't know the story, and they don't know the stories and the history of a lot of things that happened in the United States after the slavery. So they might not know the story of Louisiana. And I think Louisiana is a unique state, even in the United States. I don't see the kind of mix that I see in Louisiana. I don't see it in Texas. I don't see it in New York. I don't see it in Washington. I don't see it in any part of the United States. Can you explain to us what makes the black people in Louisiana so light complexion like yourself, and growing up black, but with so much mixed, and you are not the only one like this in Louisiana. A lot of people in Louisiana are just like you. So how will you explain the story and the history behind it to our audience?
Well, the best way I can explain it is in Louisiana, first of all, there were a lot of Native Americans. There were a lot of Native American tribes in Louisiana. And the Spanish and the French also came in to conquer. Louisiana used to extend all the way up to Canada until the Louisiana Purchase.
Wow.
And therefore, we had a lot of the French and a lot of the Spanish that were all there as well. And then, later during the slave trade, there was ports in Louisiana where the slave ships did come and dock, and the slaves were auctioned off in New Orleans, the city of New Orleans, and even here in Lake Charles.
Okay.
So a lot of the people here were born and were mixed with all these different races. A lot of it, some of it came through slavery, but a lot of it was just, from the different melting pot of all the races that were here. I personally traced my family back to a slave lady, and her name was Marguerite Guillory. And she was actually owned by a Frenchman. And later, when his wife died, he wanted to marry her. He had children with her. And he wanted to set her free. She had to go to court. A lot of people don't know. Black people went to court back in the day and got their freedom. So she actually went to court to get her freedom because he was going to sign papers to let her free. And as the story goes, after he passed away, his children from his wife claimed her children as their property.
Ooh.
And they had to go back to court, and they had to buy their freedom from their stepbrothers and sisters, their half brothers and sisters.
No.
Yes. So there's a long history of Native American. I have a part Cherokee, part Blackfoot Indian, African American, and the French and Spanish as well, all mixed together. So there are actually a lot of people like me. They're also called Creole.
I see.
Called Creole people. Mm-hmm.
But Creole also has a language in the Caribbean when they speak the language of Creole. But when you talk about Creole in Louisiana, you are not talking about the language. You are talking about the color.
Talking about, a mixture of different races. If you have Indian, Spanish, French, or Black, there is a certain, formula, if you say, that you are actually considered Creole.
Okay, but that doesn't...
But it doesn't have to do with the language.
Okay, that doesn't have anything to do with the language, just with the mixture, just with the complexion. Right. Okay.
Yes.
Now, but do you know much about this? I know a very interesting part of Louisiana. It has to do with the French people taking a lot of black ladies. I'm sure you should know just something like what happened to your grandmother. It's something that was very, very prevalent in the French Louisiana when the slave ladies were actually, the black ladies were actually kept as mistresses to the white owners, even though they had their own family and their own children and their own wives, but they will also have these black ladies, and even though they are their slaves, but they will also keep them like, having children. A lot of them having mistresses and having a lot of children for them, and a large population of Louisiana also came from that particular mixture of these slave owners, not necessarily marrying the black ladies, but having children from them. Will you say that, there is a good number of that as well?
Yes, there was a good number of that. There was a lot of that going on back during the slavery. Yes, sir.
And because that was a lot of oppression going on there as well. Because a lot of these children were left to the black ladies to raise them up by themselves and to cater for them, and they didn't have inheritances from their father, and then the other children will not allow them to have possession, and the other women with the wives will not, so a lot of sufferings with these ladies and these children, in history, just reading through history, that is what I found out. And I think, I don't know if this didn't work out, but there was a group during the civil rights movement that were actually trying to campaign for some kind of repatriation, reparation to make could you tell us a little bit about this part of America, this history of America?
Well, that part of that history, it's really deep because it's part of the lynching letters that they used. I forget his first name, but Mr. Lynch sent a letter on how to control your slaves.
Yes.
And what it was, he imparted these different call it brainwash, but they would manipulate the minds of the people.
Like measurements and requirements and criteria.
Actually, it was more psychological.
Okay.
It was a form of control, a mental controlling your slaves without having to physically have to beat them, even though that was part of the process. But one of those things were for the slave masters to have children with these men's wives.
Wow.
So these children would come out light-skinned, and they would be very different than the rest, but it was a psychological thing to take the manhood of the African man. And also, as time went on, there was a separation of the dark skin.
Somebody is writing, his name was Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lynch.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
And what they would do was they separated the light-skinned blacks from the dark-skinned blacks and caused disunity there to keep them from staying in, to forming any kind of coalition to overthrow them.
Oh.
There was a lot of the psychological as well as, the rape and the mistresses that they had going on as well. But it was more associated with psychologically dealing with people and controlling them. And it's still prevalent today. There are still issues within the races in America, light skin, dark skin, good hair, bad hair is what we grew up dealing with, and it worked. What he did worked, but we have to rise above that.
Yeah,
we have to get knowledge.
A lot of consequences from that, because a lot of psychological backwardness as a result of that. When the men were no more able to, so they destroyed the manhood and they destroyed the family unity, the family unit of the black man and of his family. And sometimes they would take away the children and sell the children or the wife or the man. They would sell the man away from the house. So all kind of things that they did to destroy the African American, because when a lot of people today, like I used to have a lot of churches in America that are just Caucasian white churches. One day I arrived in Washington State, in Seattle. So I had a church in Seattle, and this was a church that was populated by mainly Europeans, white Europeans, like people from Eastern Europe, Poland, Germany, Europe. So, but they're Americans, but they just go to that church. But this was one of my extension, a branch of our church from Kiev here. So they had a white pastor, but I was the senior pastor. So we had 22 of these churches all over America. So they were all white Caucasian.
Yes.
So one day when I got into the country, I flew into the Seattle airport, and these people, these white guys, they were my members, but they came to pick me up. And they could speak Russian, so they were speaking Russian to me. So this was at the time when Barack Obama was campaigning and was trying to. So, and they were telling me that the reason why they would not like a black president. And their reason was because these black people, they are responsible for all the crimes of America. Now, I'm a black man. And I'm their pastor. I'm their pastor. They forgot. They forgot about that. They just keep on talking because we are talking a different language. They say we cannot speak like this in America, like plainly. But they were talking to me like that in Russian, like private discussion. And they would be giving excuses. So, and you know what they told me? They said, do you know what we white people talk about ourselves? We say, abortion, these are Christians, born again. Abortion is prohibited, but it must be allowed for black people only.
Yeah, that is part of the Planned Parenthood. Yeah. Planned Parenthood has begun that to genocide.
Can you believe that?
Yes, sir.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
horrible. And they were telling me that. So I had to sit them down and say, you don't know the history. And that is what I've discovered with the white Americans. A lot of them, they just look down at these colored people, at these black people, saying, you are just the problem. And that is why recently I saw a video recording, maybe from Florida, when the policeman was trying to stop the white lady driving the car, and the white lady was saying, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I'm trying to be careful so that you don't shoot. So the white cop was saying, no, but you are white. We don't shoot white people. We don't shoot white. You are white. You don't need to worry about that. Have you seen any white being shot? We only kill black people. We don't kill, we don't shoot white people. This is on the internet. This video is right up there. So this is a white cop saying this. And the reason why these white Americans are having this feeling that our problem is the blacks is because they don't know the stories and they don't know the histories of what their grandfathers, they just think it's slavery. They say, oh, get over it, get over it. No, it's not just about getting over it. The damage is much more deeper. The damage of, separating the family unit, destroying the manhood, making the woman to be the only one to raise up this, this whole family with all these children and having to work all day. They don't know the story of the black man. So these people who are my members, but telling me that you have to allow abortion only for black people and, kill them all. And I am a black man who are telling me this. And I have to let them know that, no, you don't just come to conclusion because of what you see today. There is a deep history that is much more deeper than the crimes. There is something that is responsible for that. And the white man are the people who push this. They push this. They made this happen. And but I'm very sorry that people don't know this history. And when you don't know the history, you just think maybe something is wrong with you being black or something is wrong with the black man. No, there is a history behind that. And that history was created by another man. So I don't know what you like to say, in regards to what I've just mentioned.
Well, that I agree with you. That is very deep. It's much deeper. I mean, when a black community, black people lose their identity and lose the culture, lose the fact of all the great things and the civilization that they came from, and it's reduced through history and reduced through these fairy tales of them being, just in the woods running around and all these lies that were told about black people and not knowing the history. And still today, African history is not really being taught. There are lies and there are deceptions and there are twists of the truth about who black people are. And therefore, you identify today, a lot of people identify with what they know has been broadcast, has been taught, has been put in history books, but it's not the truth. And the truth is what we need in order to rise above the mindset thinking that we're less than anyone else or believing that we can't survive or we can't go above a certain area of knowledge or income. Because it's been a proven fact, people do come out, but it's such a heavy mindset in certain communities. And part of the thing that I identified with listening to DSA is the plight of the people in Nigeria is the same plight here in Africa for some people because it's the same rhetoric, it's the same lies, and it's the same oppressive information that the truth is not getting to people in order to come up and say, I'm not going to let the boundaries of who people say I am hold me back and keep me from being who I'm supposed to be. Yeah. So I can relate to a lot of what you're saying, even what you're planning to do in Nigeria can be copied and put in these communities. And these communities can progress, but there has to be education, and there has to be truth and love. It has to come. It has to come from us.
And we've got to tell all the young people the truth about the black man and the truth about Africa, just like you said, that there is no history of Africa and the black man in the schools. Because that's why I wrote this book. I actually wrote this book intentionally to help the black man know that no, there used to be a time when the black man ruled and controlled the world. And this book is called How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. So, but this is not just about Europe. This is also including how Africans went to America before Columbus, and the things that Africans have contributed to our civilization, and so our black man used to rule the world. Black people used to rule Europe for 700 years. And you will not read that. Nobody will tell you that. So when these African Americans that are doing the crime, and they don't see immediate connection with their history, and they don't know the greatness that they come from, they just see today. Yeah. And today is that they are being put in prison, they are being incarcerated, and so they think that is their reality. So, but that is why I wrote this book, to be able to enlighten people, both in Africa and everywhere else, that no, that's not where you're coming from. You could still go back and get back to that greatness.
Yes. Actually, a lot of people don't know that African people were here before slavery.
Yeah.
African people were hired to come here and show the Europeans how to plant cotton and how to grow sugarcane, that all the agriculture and all the things that they were doing already in Africa, they were people brought in to teach. Yeah. We've got a conflicting history, because it's not the truth, the whole truth, the whole story is not being told.
Because the white men who are just telling the story, like you said, to mentally captivate and enslave the people and reduce them. And that is the history that is still being taught by a lot of people. Okay, somebody wanted to see the book again. This book is called How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe. So you can get it on Amazon or write to my office, dssbooks@gmail.com. But or go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books. But this is a book that every African must read. Anyway, so Rebecca, how did you grow up?
Yes.
Did you grow up from both of your parents being African Americans, or they were mixed?
They were mixed. They looked like me. I look a lot like my father. They were light skinned, but actually on my mother's side, they were dark skinned people. The Vitals are dark skinned people, but there's a mix everywhere. Just about everybody is mixed. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, I have relatives that have blonde hair and blue eyes.
Ooh.
I have relatives that are very dark skinned, the whole gamut. Guillories, they come in every shade. Every shade. So, there's no comparison. So, but I did grow up, if I remember correctly, it was that difference in the light skin, dark skin during my parents' time of coming up. And my father went to primary school, but he was well skilled in many areas. He could build a house. He raised cattle. We lived on a farm. We grew our own food. My mom also was very skilled. She sewed. She could take the food, can the food, everything that we did on the farm. And my father was a truck driver, but he also looked Spanish. So, he's going out. Nobody knows until they talk to him, and there was such racism. But you got to remember, the dark-skinned people also had issues with light-skinned people, and the white people, so it was such a mess. It was such a mess back then. But we did really, I grew up slightly outside of town, but it was country living. We raised and ate our own food. My father knew, he actually was in the rodeo.
Wow.
My father was a cowboy. Yeah,
No.
rodeo. So I got a
Amazing.
little bit of everything.
What, did he have a horse?
Oh yes, several horses. And he actually used to break the wild Mustang, the wild horses. People would bring it to him to break
Wow.
the horse to be able to ride it.
Wow.
Yes,
And
yes.
how was it living in the rural area? Was it all mixed in that rural area as well, or it was just like a mixed kind of area, or just the African American community?
Where I grew up, it was a mix. Where he grew up, my grandfather lived, the actual subdivision, it's the North Lake Charles, is considered colored land.
Oh, okay.
So there was still the segregation there, but we were outside of the city limits. So we were out, in a large area of land, but there was still, I didn't see much racism or much distinction because we were away from the city part. We were kind of isolated. We didn't need much, We had everything that we needed there. We just went to school, caught the school bus, and went to school, predominantly Black, but I was always in a mixture of company. They were always Black and white, and I had Black and white friends growing up. But of course, maybe they couldn't tell the difference, right?
Yeah. But since you are still in the same community, and a lot of people are like you anyway, so. And
Yes.
Louisiana, is that, you have different, how do you classify Louisiana? Do you call them by county? Do you differentiate Louisiana? Do you divide Louisiana by counties or by north, south? How do you call
Well,
it?
we actually have such a strong French influence that Louisiana is the only state that we actually are divided by parishes.
Oh, no.
Yes. We're divided by parishes. There's 64 parishes.
Wow.
And there's such a mix of people that if you go up a little north, there's a different dialect almost. There are different accents all through Louisiana. Louisiana is like its own country.
Wow.
And there's every type of wildlife. There's every type of activity, sports, outdoors activities that you could find in Louisiana, from hunting, fishing, camping. You can grow all types of food because of the lush area. It's right off the Mississippi River. There's lots of water, lots of land, lots of trees, and lots of different types of animals as well.
But can you explain to me why Louisiana and what do you call that city again? Where you said the Black people were?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Why do they still have a lot of poor Black people in that area? In the average, they have more poverty there than in the average in the United States.
We're actually way at the bottom of the list. Louisiana is as far as education.
Yeah, not just education.
So poor education.
Even with poverty with the Black people, yeah.
Yeah, poor education. There's such a draw, I suppose, of anytime you have big cities where there is lots of tourism and travel, there's usually a side community there that is doing all the work and servicing all these people, but they don't make a lot of money.
Okay.
And then their education system, and then the fact that there's drugs and stuff all available all down there, it's just detrimental. But there is a good mix of people in New Orleans where the different cultures kind of mix. So it varies with the different people, the mindset and the areas. But there's a lot of wealthy Black people as well in New Orleans. There's a lot of educated people, a lot of entertainers, a lot of talented people there as well.
Yes, that place is full of talented people, Black people, especially musicians and artists and creative people.
And cooks.
Cooks, yes.
I love the food.
Yeah.
Wonderful food in New Orleans.
Right. But you remember when the situation with the hurricane happened?
Yes.
You remember
Katrina.
Katrina, and you remember that actually exposed a lot of stuff because a lot of the black,
Mm-hmm.
low class black, poor blacks they were the main victims, and the whites and the well-to-do people they got off very easily. But with the a lot of tragedy happened with the death and suffering of the black people there, and still, even after the Katrina, still they still record a lot of black people who are still on a low level there. So what is that? What could that be connected with? What could be the reason for that?
The thing with the Katrina in New Orleans, a lot of people didn't evacuate because the flooding actually wasn't the problem. The flooding from the hurricane, it was when the levees broke.
Okay.
And it flooded the area of New Orleans. The levees actually caused most of that flooding issue.
I see.
And I remember well because I was in tears. It was just horrible to watch it on TV. These people praying and calling for FEMA and being stranded. A lot of what's happened there is controversial. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things that have not been answered. People are concerned of, just the area where it flooded is actually a rich soil there. A lot of the places there have not been rebuilt. There's a lot of communities, a lot of homes that were never gone back and repossessed by the people. People didn't get to go back. A lot of people actually, when they left New Orleans, they did not return. They did not want to return. So they actually live in all parts of America now.
Yeah, a lot of them went to Texas.
Yes, a lot went to Texas. They went to Arkansas. They went up north. They're in Louisiana, further up north, and they've just relocated.
Now, when that kind of thing that happened in Louisiana, in New Orleans, when those kind of things happen in Europe here, the government actually takes up all the responsibility for the rebuilding, reconstruction, and resettlement. How does that work in America? Isn't the American government supposed to take responsibility for that?
Well, we have what you call FEMA, and during Katrina was one of the first of many large hurricane and destructive storms that have come through in the past 10 years. And they were actually very helpful at the time for most people because there was money available and help to rebuild. Louisiana actually had a separate fund called, what was it? Coming Home? No. Road Home.
Okay.
So the state of Louisiana actually had a program called Road Home. And it was to get the people of Louisiana to come back to live in Louisiana. So there were a lot of grants available. And people were able to use these grants to rebuild their homes, to fix their homes. So as a community and as a state even, I can vouch for Lake Charles. When the next, a few months later, Rita hit, the next month.
Yeah.
Rita hit this area where I live.
Okay.
And this community pulled together. And there were lots of nonprofits and lots of resources, and people came together and literally helped one another in their homes evacuate. We have what you call a Cajun Navy, is when the citizens actually hooked up their fishing boats and whatever type of boats they had, and they went out to help rescue people of their own, on their own. And it's still in operation today. There were actually some sent to New Orleans for Hurricane Harvey. So we are a community that will bind together and we will work for the good. There's a lot of good people here who, community, we thrive. If I'm not mistaken, if I heard correctly, there were European countries who had catastrophes and issues after that wanted to that came to Lake Charles in a conference to see what it was we did to rebuild and reestablish our community so quickly. And it's all about,
So it's more about the community effort than the federal effort.
Community. Yes. We did not wait for the government to come in and send money or troops or help. A lot of times we go forth if our neighbor needs help, if our neighbor needs rescue, if somebody has a boat and somebody else needs rescuing or they need food, we will offer that. We have done it before, and it's just that community that we have here to help others. And I do love that part about Lake Charles, about Louisiana.
Beautiful. But those people who are refusing to come back to New Orleans, it's not that the government give them money to go and rebuild and they will refuse to go. Maybe they have to start all over by themselves. So maybe they didn't have the resources to go back and rebuild.
Correct. Some of it, it was portioned out. The monies were portioned out. And some areas, the insurance had escalated, and then the new requirements come into play when you have new construction. So now you're required to have, flood insurance. You're required to have, certain structures in place that a lot of it was really too expensive for what they were given. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We're talking so much politics today, but what about, what about your background, faith background? What was your faith background like?
As most Louisiana. I grew up as a child. I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
Going to the Catholic church, and then in my after a while, doing my own thing. I wasn't faithful in the Catholic church. I was, going to school and everything. But in my 30s, I began going to the Baptist church.
Okay.
I found that they were more in the scriptures, so I'm getting more from the Bible. So I got baptized, christened in the Catholic church, baptized in the Baptist church, and then about 5 years later, I joined a non-denominational church, a fivefold ministry church. I got baptized again, right? So now we're dealing with the fivefold, the apostle, prophet, and all that. And I began to go to school of theology there, and learn even more about the Holy Spirit. And then 2 years ago, in my search, I've never been satisfied with all the information I get from a local church. I've always been online on the internet searching different things. So as far as, the prophetic, I wasn't taught anything on the prophetic. I learned that online.
I don't think they do that in the Baptist church.
No. And I wasn't about to speak or preach at the Baptist church either. I listened to John Eckhart online. He had the School of the Prophets, just learning more about it.
John Eckhart is a good friend. He's been here with me in the Ukraine, John Eckhart.
Awesome. Yes. I haven't met him personally, but I've had his books. I've read his books, and so I've identified with a lot of those things. So I'm in a space, I'm in a place where I'm kind of outside of the area here, but I have the knowledge, and I'm still curious. I'm still learning. So I consider myself being born again a couple of years ago.
2 years ago.
Because I had got stuck in that religious system.
Yeah.
I got stuck in that religious doctrine and the do's and don'ts, and there was too much of me still searching outside of that. So it's such a conflict.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process of being free, but that's where you come in. That's where DSA comes in with his teachings, because it's bringing light to things and understanding the things that I had questions about anyway. But with the majority of the people in churches here on the same vein, you're not going to get a clear answer. You're just going to be rebuked. You're going to be told you're covering, you need to be at the church, and, you don't know, they have another anointing that they can see, more than I can see. And so, I've shared your post over and over again for the past year, since last year.
Have you got into some troubles yet?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I believe I lost a few people that were following me. I've been blocked. We've had discussions. I've had discussions with pastors on my posts. We call it discussions. And, I still find people want to rebuke me. I don't have a title. I don't have a title like apostle or pastor.
So how dare you, huh?
Yeah, go sit down. You don't know. They're anointed, who am I, But I know who I am.
Amen.
And I know when I read the truth and when I see the truth, I can apply it to my life and I can keep moving. But it hasn't made me very popular. Especially when I reposted the things on tithes.
Wow.
When I post anything about tithes or not having to go to church.
When you touch the money, when you touch the money, you get into trouble.
Oh, yeah. But I also have a lot of people who are not in church. A lot of people have already stepped away from church. They already see the issues. So, and there's a lot of people that are reading my posts I don't ever hear from. But I just want the word out. I give out the information and hoping that people can make their own decision.
Beautiful.
If it's something not according to what you believe or what you've been taught, if you have an open mind, you can listen to it and see. I mean, that's how I am. I will compare what I know to what I'm hearing and then find the correct answer. I don't believe I know everything. And I don't believe I'm more superior than anybody else, but that doesn't make me inferior either. That doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't have a church or a title. The truth is still the truth. The truth is the truth. When I began seeking the truth, I called myself a truth seeker.
Right.
Because I've seen all the different religions and I had all the different people telling me what was the truth. Well, your truth is opposite of their truth. So one of y'all is lying. Yeah. They can't both be true. So what is truth? And then I found out that people understand what they know. Some people confuse facts with truth. But until you have all of the facts, you don't have the truth. You have a lot of opinions. So I've made myself comfortable in the truth and even comfortable in uncovering when I'm wrong. I've had to go back and tell my children that what I told you, what I learned in church, what I've been telling you is not correct. So as I'm correcting myself, I am telling people in my area of influence, especially my children, I was wrong. You need to find it for yourself. You need to have a relationship with God for yourself, and you need to read and study. Because these people don't know everything. Some are misguided, and some are purposely taking advantage of people.
So you mean that in your environment, just like in Africa, people would like you to, not just you, but people to be in church and go to church and be members of church and pay tithe. So you have the same problem in America like these Nigerian churches.
Yes, and I did it. I did it all. I was in church 3-4 days a week. I cleaned the church, Pastor. I paid my tithes. I gave extra offerings. I helped with the events and did all of those things in hopes that one day, pie in the sky, I would be rewarded. But I didn't mind. I did know the truth. And I actually went to a church that had a homeless shelter, a couple of homeless shelters. And I ministered to these ladies. And I ministered to these men, and I did not mind giving. Now, what happens with the money after I give it, I'm free from that because my intentions is to help these people, but they needed the truth. We all need the truth because I'm a person, I don't believe a shelter is where you live. Yeah. I believe it's where you get help to get yourself together to move on and do better. So it was a matter of just helping people to get stronger without being caught up in the bondage.
Right.
So, you can only do that so long in an institution, in a church, before you become the enemy, before you are opposing them.
Yep. And what was, when you began to listen to me, where were you before that? You said you were following some certain African prophet, apostle. Who are these people?
He came. His name is Ben Chris. That is the name. Is he living in Nigeria? His name is Ebenezer Ogoibe. His last name is Ogoibe.
Oh, okay, that's a Nigerian name, yeah.
Right. And he came in to do a revival, and he was preaching about the kingdom. He was preaching about being awakened to the kingdom, and I knew that message. I knew that. I understood that, and I knew that was where I was trying to get to. And he was actually here in Lake Charles, so I wanted to gain as much information from him as possible. But now, also, whenever I started listening to you about a year or so later, all these other things came out.
But how long was it in your area for? Was it there for a long time in your area?
He was there for a few months. Then he went back, and then he came back again.
Okay.
And he was there. Like I said, I learned a lot because the culture, because of where he came from. There was a lot of knowledge about the kingdom, right, and about the things that the church was doing. But also, in listening to you, you also put aside some of the other things that mixture involved in it. Concerning the gifts, the giving, the prophecies, and those things. So it was a bridge to you, actually, because I wasn't invited to watch, DSA. I happened along that post, okay, and I said, well, let me see. See, I have a habit. When I hear a preacher preaching, that I need to go and find out who he listening to.
Yeah.
Because it gets watered down.
Because you are a truth seeker.
Yes. And so when I got into that and I started seeing, I think one of the first ones I saw was Syncretism.
Yep.
That mixture.
Yeah.
And I started to see clearly, okay, wait a minute. I see that. Oh, wow, I see this, And then, you did the series on love.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But I'm telling you, once I did the one on money, boy, look, that was it.
Your eyes were wide open now.
Wide open. And I'm a giver. I don't mind giving. I don't mind helping. But I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want to be used, And I've seen, I can help you. I can help people. I don't mind.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was getting ready to give to a prophet at a revival. And this guy, there was no anointing there. But I figured, okay, well, let's just help the church. And I heard God tell me, if you give, your money will be cursed. Because you're not putting your money in good ground. So I politely tore the check up, slid it back in my purse, and exited the door. Because I had to, when you learn better, you have to do better.
Yeah.
You're accountable.
Yeah.
You're accountable for people who are watching you as well.
But what began to happen with the people you are, the church you are going to, when they began to see that you are posting all these messages from Pastor DSA?
They disappeared.
You lost friends.
I lost friends.
And what about this apostle? Is he keeping in touch with you?
No, sir. I've heard even back last year, they were talking about me. They were saying how I was being rebellious. I'm foolishly following this African. There are all kind of stories, but yet, when I see them, it's still all smiles and cordial. But when you're not blind and when you have spiritual discernment, you sense things in people. And I've invited everybody I know to watch this program today, because I think everybody needs to make their own decision concerning what they believe and what they don't believe. And when the truth is presented, this is what I believe, DSA, when the truth is presented to you and you have opportunity and you hear it, it is your responsibility what you do with it. It is no longer on me. And I can rest easy and I can walk away. And I don't even have to argue with you about it. But I know I'm going to follow the truth, and I want to see better days. And I do want things to change. I do hope that people can see and hear and be introduced to you if they don't already know, and see that there's more to the church that God actually wants to do. And he doesn't want to destroy anybody. He don't want to destroy any churches. It just needs to get on that level to where we're operating where we should be, where we're ministering to people and we're getting people equipped and empowered to go forth and to go do what God has called them to do and receive, what they have for them, and not hold people in a place serving you and waiting on you to lay hands on them or to speak a word to them for them to do something. That is no, God didn't give that to no man to do. He didn't. We're supposed to impart knowledge. We don't have to put your hands on somebody to impart knowledge. You teach them. You show them what you know. And then I'm all about empowering people to go forth and do what God called them to do. Because they might be doing it. I might be helping somebody that's going to help my great-grandchildren one day find their purpose.
Beautiful.
And not be held in bondage.
Beautiful. Now, when you listen to this Syncretism series, what did that do to you, and what did you learn from that particular series?
What I learned was there was a lot of culture. There's actually I see a lot of that, what you showed in Africa here, because it's been passed down. It's not all been lost. Some of the culture, some of the ways they pray, some of the old ideas, they call them old wives' tales. They call them, the different things that they do. They hold a needle over the pregnant woman's stomach, and, they're...
Do they do that in America too?
Yes. Especially in Louisiana.
Wow.
Especially in Louisiana. Yes. Especially here. There's a lot of it. But it's mixed in with Christianity. It's mixed in with the church and some of the things that they do and how they do it. So it opened my eyes to where it came from, because I didn't know where it came from, and it made sense that it was a cultural thing, that it was something that they just knew, and they don't know why they're doing it. But they just continue to repeat the pattern. They continue to say these things and not understanding that it's been twisted, that the original concept of it was not where you think it came from. Just being black, you don't have to associate with everything that black people did, because it's good and bad. You can't say, you can't have all these African artifacts and these different talisman. You got all these charms and everything. And this is what a lot of Americans do to identify with being African.
Okay.
But it doesn't identify with the true African. It identifies with a specific era or something they can see, something to hold on to, but it's misleading.
Yeah.
It's deception.
Yeah. So they end up practicing syncretism and paganism, thinking this is still okay. This is Christianity.
Yes.
But they don't know they're having a mixture right there of paganistic practices with Christian practices.
Right, because they haven't done the research to see where it came from. They know it came from Africa, but they don't know which part and what that mindset of those people were at the time. So they're attaching to that when they really need to be attaching to the society and the culture and the civilization and the agriculture and all the inventions, that made life better.
Yeah.
And that's when you did the thing on syncretism, I seen it. I seen it in the way a lot of what you showed about these preachers in Africa and all the different things they're doing, yelling and screaming and combing their hair. They do it here on a smaller scale.
Wow.
They do it here on a smaller scale. And I've identified it. So there's no need to fear. There's no need to fear it. There's no need to fight it.
Yeah.
But it just needs to be exposed.
Right.
And hopefully people will see that this is, there's more to it and there's a better way to do it. This is my thing. I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm just saying there's a better way. You could be more proficient, more accurate, more at peace, and you can have more productivity in your life if you line up with these things and just get rid of the impurities, the extra.
Because the only thing that really matters is the truth. It's not the tradition or the culture. The truth is what we're after. And you must be able to, get the truth out of all the bunch of things you're doing and be able to focus on the truth and follow the truth. The truth is the only thing that is paramount.
Yes, absolutely. Focus on the truth. Don't worry about disagreeing about how you do anything, but focus on the truth and find out. I've had a few encouraging posts, not linked directly to me. I don't blame them. But where people are asking a question, there was one post said, has anybody else heard that you don't have to tithe? You know what I'm saying? And there was another one said, a preacher, a pastor said, you know what? I've been doing things wrong for a long time, but I'm correcting that now.
Wow.
And like I said, it's not anything specific, but I continue to put the word out there because I'm fishing. And I'm just throwing seeds out there because I don't know who is going to hear this and who is going to resonate with. And it's only going to take a few people. But once it starts to change, and the same thing I believe in Africa, in Nigeria, when the people, and there's so many, when they get the knowledge, I'm talking about the simple, everyday people, they begin to get the knowledge and they start to demand that they get the truth, the sheer number of people can overthrow any amount of money.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Now, what about the love series? What did that do to you?
The love series confirmed a lot of things to me. I've been dealing with a lot of people who are preaching love, but they're preaching tolerance. They're preaching
political correctness.
Right. You just love everybody and you just be nice to people and you just make them all feel comfortable and warm and everything, and then they're going to change. But that hasn't been my experience. My experience, especially with my children, is I love you, so I'm going to correct you.
Yeah.
I love you, so I'm going to tell you the truth. I love you, so there's going to be some hard times and some consequences that you got to go through. I'm showing you that I'd rather be the one to discipline you and to tell you something that hurts your feeling or that you don't agree with than to let you continue on like you're going and destroy your life. To me, that's love.
Beautiful.
Not, don't disagree with them, don't offend anybody. No, that's not love to me. Beautiful. And I don't love you if I don't tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want me to love you, then you have to leave my presence.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you the truth if you ask me. And I've had many people tell me they've been offended by me, or more so, they told somebody else that they've been offended by me. And I repeat what I said. I don't have any qualms about it. I care. I know you wrote a book about not being afraid to die.
Yeah.
The fear of death.
Yep.
I'm not afraid to die.
Beautiful.
I'm not afraid to die, and I know that just like the scripture says, you can kill the body, but you can't, only God can kill the body and cast somebody into hell. So if I'm on my way to heaven and you kill me, I'm going to heaven. So I can speak the truth without fear of what you do to me, or what you say about me, or how you feel about me, because I'm accountable to one God. He's my source. He is keep me alive. You can't do anything to me that God doesn't allow. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to be foolish and let you get me, but I'm also going to stand on what I believe. And I've been wrong in the past, but I made corrections. And I'm not going to stop because I have children and grandchildren. I have a family that I need to be saved, and they not be saved in my generation. So somebody got to get this word, and somebody got to continue.
So that love series, it brings to you a lot of balance, right? That's what I understand.
Yes. I really needed to know, and this is for, everybody watching and everybody that I friended through DSA that are all over the world, that I'm so grateful to have that community of believers with that mindset, because it helps me. Because here I felt like I was alone. I felt like there was not a lot of people that I can talk to that understood what was going on. And just to have that, that community, that network helps to continue to keep you going, to know that there's a brighter day ahead and that it's coming.
Beautiful. Then after that, after the love series, I began to do the God of Mammon. And and I'm sure you saw all the American preachers. I was showing their videos. A lot of them are on television in America. A lot of them are very visible. But this is all about money. Did you ever question that or notice that even before getting to know DSA? Did you ever question that before, or you never really see anything wrong with that kind of gospel?
Yes. I actually worked through that. As I'm seeking the truth, I used to listen to Creflo Dollar. I used to listen to all these preachers on John Hagee. I was listening to anything and everything I could get my hands on to try to understand what is this all about and why are they saying different things, But as I continued on, I could see that, a private jet, regardless of who you are, all you got to do is take it and you look at the community in which that person lives in, and you wonder why, why should anybody be going hungry in your community? I'm not even talking about your city. I'm not talking about a mass feeding project. I'm talking about people around your community should not be hungry. Children should not go without school clothes. There's just no reason. It doesn't make sense to me. Yes, I understand some people use jets to fly around the world and preach the gospel. I got that. I was told. But at the end of the day, it's like, what about the people next door? What about the people down the street? How many college funds, scholarships have you produced to help people? And what about the people in your own church?
Ooh.
What about the people in your own church?
Ooh.
I remember one time at the Baptist church, there was a lady, and she came to me and she said she didn't know how she was going to pay her light bill. And I went to the pastor and I said, Pastor, why don't we, so-and-so needs some money. I don't know. I can't remember if they were a widow, but they were definitely in need. And I said, why don't you just pick up an offering? You don't even have to go into the tithe. Just ask the congregation if they would like to help.
Easy.
And he told me no. He said, because if he did it for them, he'd have to do it for everybody else. That shocked me. That hurt me. And then whenever those questions start going off, then I know I need to find something else. This is not right. that doesn't make sense to me. Somebody needs, no, I'm sorry. So that point about money and about these preachers who have all this money, you know, I was watching those things like with Benny Hinn and everything, and those things are coming out, but they're not being publicized. They're not being shared. You know, there's some type of stigmatism or something. People are not talking about it. They should be, because they know people are following these people, and they should be told, but it's not even a conversation, you know, that these people are not healed. These people are leaving the way they came. These people are dying, waiting on a miracle, you know. And that is the worst thing I can imagine, you know, and hearing it year after year. I did notice something on one of these 700 clubs or something. I started noticing that the pastors that they would get to come on and speak, it was all along the same line.
Yeah.
It was a different face.
Yeah.
It was a different person, but you pick up on the same spirit.
Right.
If you close your eyes, you can almost not differentiate one from the other. And they were all smooth, good looking, you know, charismatic. And I'm like, but wait a minute. It's like, no, something not right. So I eventually moved away from that. And I began listening to Andrew Womack.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew Womack.
He's excellent.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So eventually he was about the only one I was listening to until you came along, because he was telling it like it is.
Yeah.
He was doing the work. He is spending money, helping people, communities. He's giving money away. He's teaching students. And he lives a decent life. He's not trying to be extravagant.
Right.
He said doesn't even believe in that. He believes in hard work.
Yeah.
So that began to change my mindset, you know, concerning the word, concerning church as a whole.
Yeah.
And he even said he doesn't go to church.
Yeah.
You know, he said he's met many people that they don't care what the Bible says. They gonna do what they believe. So that progressed me here now to where I see where God is positioning me and putting me in a place where there is a revolution. There is change. Regardless of people cooperate, regardless of people are participating in this movement, it's still happening. And if need be, and God needs to move me and I need to travel and go do some things, and I'm more than willing to do that. But the change is here. It cannot be denied. It won't be denied. I actually feel sorry for those that's going to miss it. Because they will. They will miss it if they don't wake up.
Beautiful.
Because there's a lot of work to do.
Beautiful.
There's a lot of work to do.
Did you discover my YouTube page yet?
Yes.
And have you been able to go through any of the materials, any of the series there, like the Truth series or like the Thinking series or any other thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, I did the Thinking series as well. That's another big thing, getting people to think for themselves or think outside the box.
Right.
So after I listened to that, my posts on Facebook changed, and I began to ask questions. That's when the fight started.
Yeah, because people don't want you to think. Just remain in the slave camp. Don't think. Just be a good slave.
Exactly. Yeah, just be a good slave. Just answer yes. Yes. But no, so my post changed. I began to ask questions like, why do you believe what you believe? You know, I didn't get very many responses, but I know people read it. I know, you know. I know people read it. I said things like, you don't have to go to church, you know, and just leave it out there. Nothing specific, no names calling, no church, no denomination. I would just put that out there, you know, and just to get people to think about why they're doing what they're doing. Now, if you got a good reason, then continue doing it. If you know what you're doing, But if you got a question, you need to find out why.
Right.
Why are you doing this? And a lot of that, I listen to a lot. I actually still work for Uncle Sam.
Okay.
I work in a government office 5 days a week.
5 days?
So I actually listen. So I'm actually listening to you while I'm at work.
That if it allows you, if you have the opportunity,
yes,
you need to take advantage of it.
Well, that's correct.
Yeah.
So I double up. I'm doubled up. You know, I'm constantly hearing and renewing my mind because I was in churches for 15 years and giving and working and trying to help this vision that never came to pass. And now I have to get out of that. And I need to renew my mind, and I need to hear the truth, and I need to see it. But I'm getting to that point now where I can kind of level off a little bit and really dig deep and find out, okay, God, what is it that you have for me? What's my purpose? Who are the people you want me to serve? And how can I help somebody else? Because the mind has been renewed. So I will not fall into that trap any longer. I recently went to a church because I just been visiting here and there. And this person knows that I listen to DSA. And, you know, when people, you know, pastors do that sometimes. When they know there's an issue, they try to bring it up in the sermon and try to tell you it was about tithes, right? About paying tithes and how you need to do this. And they actually picked up an offering, and I felt the Lord didn't want me to give. I had everybody stand up that gave. I was the only one sitting down.
It means you are free.
I was the only one sitting down.
You are free from any manipulation of the mind of people.
Right.
So did you say you spoke to somebody about listening to DSA?
Oh yes, he was preaching one time, and he actually quoted you. He quoted something you said.
Oh, okay.
And remember, I'm nobody. I'm just, you know, this apostle, right? So I went up to him and I said, yeah. I said, have you heard him on Facebook? Oh, I didn't know he was on Facebook. I said, yeah, you need to check him out. So I tagged him a couple of your posts.
Is he an African pastor?
So I don't think. No, sir. He's American.
American, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't know I'm on Facebook. So how does he listen? From YouTube?
I don't know. I sent a message through Facebook for him to listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. I invite people to listen through Messenger.
Good.
Yeah.
Through Facebook.
I rarely see it. Yes.
Okay.
Because I know it'll make a difference. I know, you know, and it's not an insult because I'm telling people I believe you're intelligent enough to hear through and work through what you need to be doing and what's the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant to put anybody down or say, you know, you're doing this wrong or whatever. It's like, listen to this and examine yourself and see if there's something that you need to change. If not, hey,
yeah, take your own decision. Yeah, you know, judge for yourself.
Yes.
Now, did you hear about the mentorship program? Have you joined or you're planning to join?
Yes, sir, I did, and I did join.
Okay.
And with my schedule, I'm still working through it.
Okay. You've not read any of the articles yet, and you've not started the program?
I read a couple articles, and I'm in the process of reading, was The Essence of Life?
Yes, The Essence of Life, the essence and value of life.
The Essence and Value of Life. That's what I'm in the process of reading now.
Yeah, good. Now, have you gone through a little bit, at least to know the value and the importance of this mentorship training? If you could say a few words to people who are hearing about it for the first time.
Like I said, I've just begun it, but it is awesome because you're able to read and connect and walk through some basic things. Some of the things I believe will just remind you or confirm some things that you know that you may have gotten lost in the past, but it gets deeper. And if you want to be deeper, if you want to know and really examine, you know, even the essence of life, or this program helps you, you know, some people are not used to research or development and things like this, and it'll help you to get in the habit and to work through and to be able to move forward and grow deeper and find those answers that they're looking for. So I highly recommend the mentorship program to anybody who is willing to, you know, take a step. I mean, you're offering it for free. So, you know, just try it.
Yeah.
I believe it'll help a lot.
This is the book you were talking about. The essence
Yes.
and value of life. Yes. And okay, for those people who have not joined the mentorship program, it is for free, just like Rebecca has said. And you could go join it by going to my blog, www.sundayadelaja.com/mentorship. So sundayadelaja.com/mentorship. So you go to www.sundayadelajablog.com, sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. So that's supposed to be costing $3,000, but you don't need to pay anything for it. Just go and, you know, it's about getting you to a place where you could have your own personal relationship with the Lord and build your work with God, get to know God for yourself without anybody standing in the middle. No pastor, no individual, no church, no syncretism, just you and your God, getting to know Him more, getting to know yourself, and getting to know the Word. And so that's what that program will do for you. Now, what about you? Have you heard of HMT, History Makers Training that we do in the Ukraine? Any plan to attend that?
Yes. Actually, I do have plans to attend as soon as possible. I don't know when I'll be able to come. I don't know if you'll still be in the Ukraine or if you'll be in Nigeria by then. But yes, I am excited. I would love to attend. I think it would be awesome.
Yes, and but you've not seen any of the videos of the training itself. Have you seen any of those videos?
Yes. I've seen some of the videos, and I was a follower of Maya too when she was on doing her skit while she was there with you, and it was just she's on fire.
Maya is no nonsense. No nonsense. She's going to drive a lot of these apostles out of town.
Oh, yes, she will. Oh, she's awesome.
She's awesome.
Oh, yes.
She is a firebrand.
I enjoy.
Yeah. What will you tell the people that are watching us? Because we need to go soon so that we'll be able to come on the next 30 minutes. But what would you like to tell the people that are watching us about the DSA platform?
What I want to tell people is they should take advantage of this platform, because this is they're able to have this information free to them anytime. If they have a mobile device, if they're able to get online, they're able to get this information. I do know that there are, you know, obstacles, and that sometimes the government plays tricks and different things. And just like in the past, these things go away.
Yeah.
You know, you may not always be able to do this. They could start charging. They could take it off the air. They can say there's something else wrong with it. I believe everyone should take advantage of this program. Listen to it, get the information. Like I said, you can make the decision for yourself after you listen to it, but you owe it to yourself to take a different point of view and to give, from what I understand, from what I've heard of DSA, his life is dedicated to, you know, empowering people and helping people to think for themselves and helping people to grow and to have just a better life. You can't not have a better life if you are ascribing to something that is pouring into you and giving you knowledge and helping to get you free. So I just highly recommend that people take advantage of it as much as possible.
Now, Rebecca, let me ask you this question. Even though I know that there are people coming to the platform from all over the world, from different countries, but you know that my focus is Nigeria and Africa. I really want to help those people over there because there are a lot of troubles and problems and challenges there. But I'm happy that didn't put you off. You didn't allow that to put you off. Explain, how did you survive that? How do you navigate through that situation?
I have had a heart for Africa, I guess as long as I can remember. You grow up, you don't eat your food. Out here they tell you, there's a child in Africa starving. Yes. That was one of the things they would tell you. So my little heart would go to, well, why we can't send them some food?
Yes.
But I've always been interested in knowing and the history and just the research of Africa, the continent, the people. But here lately, over the last 10 years, I've been praying a lot about Boko Haram and about the atrocities and just about slavery in general and how, people are being oppressed. My heart really goes out to a lot of the orphans, a lot of the people without parents, because if the government is doing this, if this is a genocide, that's what they do. You got a large group of orphans, no mother, no father, therefore no history, and not knowing who and where they are. They're going to cling to whatever is feeding them, whatever they're getting nutrition or comfort from, but they're lacking the essentials of love, and just my heart just breaks for the people. And as I watch your show and see more and more of people fleeing a land that is so rich, that has everything, that they're fleeing, and there should be a position, somebody should take a position and stand to use that land, to use everything there to produce a people who are independent and strong, because I believe that everything Africa needs is in Africa. Beautiful. And I'm praying, like I said, I've prayed many times, but I think it's mainly a political maneuver to continue to steal the continent from the people.
Yeah, but that did not put you off that I lay so much emphasis on Africa.
Oh, right. I mean, I see the cause. I love the fact that I guess I don't really see that it's not me. I realize that it probably puts other people off, but there's just something there. There's something God is doing there. I know it. You know it.
Yeah.
You know what God is about to do. And I know that there is going to be a time, there is going to come a time where the earth is going to need, the people of the earth in different regions and areas are going to need a place to go where there's going to be the water, the land, and some security. I personally believe it's going to be in Africa.
Amen.
I personally believe that as we continue to destroy the air here, the water, and the sources, and deforest everything, that God has made an oasis somewhere. And I believe that God doesn't sleep. He hears the cries of the people. I feel like I hear the cries of Africans.
Now, do you
know the mistreatment, of abusers?
I'm sure you are aware that I'm planning to leave Ukraine once I overcome all my lawsuits here, that I want to move back to Africa and to Nigeria. I'm sure you are aware of that.
Yes.
Now, do you think, peradventure, you will also, because I'm calling people from all over the world to join, and let's go together. Let's go and, help people. Let's go and rebuild the continent. Do you think, peradventure, you would like to, be a part of going to Africa to be a blessing to the people there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You are open.
And
you are open to that possibility.
I'm open to that possibility. I really am. I believe the guys equipped me with the different tools. Growing up like I did, You know, my parents were highly educated, but we didn't have a lot of money, but we know how to live. We know how to use the soil. We know how to grow food. We know how to, you know, improvise where necessary. You know, we know how to work. We know how to, and I want to encourage people. I at first I had a small view of maybe doing micro enterprises, and getting just women or families able to make clothing or ship things overseas. But recently I heard a teaching from Dr. Aarons, who I met through DSA, and he was talking about the bigger picture. He was talking about expanding that. So now I've redirected my mindset to say, okay, instead of helping one or two or three or four families, why we can't help a community or a city? You know, why we can't then, instead of teaching a few women how to sew and make these, why we can't open a school? You know, with donated items. You know, I'm a firm believer, you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. You know, and so I'm in the process, like I told you before, of transitioning and changing. And I'm big on education. I believe you begin to educate, it transforms and changes everything. But you don't educate on a low level. You educate on the high level. And you teach people everything they need to know. And you don't just let them get by. It's not time to just get by. It's time to take, you know, possession of what you have and use it and maximize it.
Excellent.
And that's the feeling. Beautiful. And that is my contribution would be in whatever way I could, but I know I could do some hands-on, you know, things with people. And I know that your part is the conditioning. You got to change the mindset of the people.
Yes.
And the mindset of the people have to change.
For you, Rebecca, and for everybody that's listening to us, I would like to say that if you don't know how to join the Nigerian Transformation Project, it's quite easy and straightforward. Go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/Nigeria. Just like you do with the mentorship program, you go to sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. But in this case, if you want to join the Nigerian team, just go to sundayadelajablog.com/Nigeria, and you'll see the form and the application there, and you can just put down your information so that when we're ready to go, we could actually inform you and, you know, let you know about our plans. And to come to Ukraine is the same thing. Go to sundayadelajablog.com/visit. So basically everything, to get everything done, you could just go to the blog, sundayadelajablog.com, for mentorship/mentorship, for visit/visit, for Nigeria/Nigeria, for books/books. So it's quite easy. So Rebecca, bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.